like how it all wraps up. It's like
didn't care.
It didn't care. But again, it's like, even if you didn't like that one, there's always the next one. But this to me was, out of the 4 that I've seen, this was definitely the weakest one.
Yeah,
it was just it didn't hit me.
Dick.
But fair enough. There you go. Could suck a Star Wars dick. Could suck a lightsaber, Martin. Come on, this is a PG show right now. Suck a lightsaber, okay?
Hey everyone, I'm sure you heard by now, Double Toasted is heading out on tour, bringing you a night of comedy, games, and some interaction with the audience out there. Get tickets by going over to doubletoasted.com or going over to X1 Entertainment. Hey, we'll see you soon. Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts.
But the first thing we're going to go ahead and talk about, Chad, the next thing I should say we're going to talk about is Star Wars Visions.
Oh, good, because I was tired of talking about nerdy stuff. Now we can get on to Star Wars.
Yeah, let's get to the serious stuff,
get to
okay?
Star Wars anime.
All right, no joking about that. Very serious content right here on Double Toasted. Yeah, that's exactly what Corey would do. He would absolutely do that. He would make fun. He would never allow what just happened. There's no doubt. He'd be like, guys, we got to talk about Star Wars, animated show. Yeah, okay, Corey. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Star Wars Visions. But before we get into all that good stuff, I just want to briefly talk about, I think, just our own exposure to anime in general.
Sure.
I'm not going to say that I'm an expert in anime. I'm not. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I've seen more anime than the average person, especially in the West, especially in America. I grew up on stuff like Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo and Death Note. Like, I watched these. Attack on Titan to a degree, Dotoro more recently. And before then, I watched stuff like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, the anime. That was kind of my initial introduction. And then also the Miyazaki's work.
Sure.
I love Princess Mononoke and Castle in the Sky. And
I'm same on the track with you, whereas it got to be with Toonami with on Saturday nights.
Agreed. Yep.
Where they would often have some show that I would get into. Big O was one. A buddy would turn me on to that. I really liked that show. And yes, Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and Attack on Titan. Love that show.
Yeah.
And some of the other ones I catch here and there, but those are the ones that I was really like, okay, every week this is what I'm doing.
And it's just created a huge fan base of anime fans in the West. And I think that's why Disney has recognized that.
Oh, sure.
And I think just because, they've taken their lumps with how they've handled the Star Wars license, they're like, okay, because they were so rigid about, like, this is canon, every video game's canon, every comic book is canon, and everything else in between. And it came to a point, it's like, it's all up again. Oh, no, what'd we do? Oh, Jesus. And I think they've come to a point where it's like, all right, we got to work on the movies again. Our series are working. Our TV shows are working out pretty well, fairly well, I would say. And even the animated shows. Brought back Clone Wars. They had Rebels and things. They're like, we seem to be hitting with animation. So let's give a lot of people free reign with this. And is it canon? Is it not? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Let's just do something new with Star Wars. And of course, Star Wars is influenced by East Asian mysticism and mythology, and I mean, the Jedi are samurai; they're Roman.
I mean, to say it's influenced by Asian.
They stole
pretty much.
Yeah, the Hidden Fortress. And George Lucas says that was his inspiration for like the original for A New Hope. So all these things, of course. But it makes sense then that we're getting a Star Wars anime. And when they first showed this trailer right here, I was really interested. This is being developed by multiple animation studios. So, and this is an anthology series, obviously. And it's like the kind of thing where it's like, if you don't like one episode, maybe you'll like the next one.
Sure.
Maybe you don't like that one, you maybe like the next one. I like that. Like, it provides a variety of content for different people and their taste. That's what's kind of exciting about this.
They're all between 14 and 22 minutes.
Yeah. No, short. Typically, like the average length of any ordinary cartoon episode. So, which makes it cool. And I have not had the chance to watch all of this. I've only watched about 4 episodes. Martin, you have watched all of this, and so however far you wanted to go, we can talk about maybe some of your favorites in the back half, of course. But I will say for myself, right off the bat, when the trailer came out, I was already really excited about this, just because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. and I already like anime for the most part, at least the stuff, I know what I like. I know what I like when it comes to anime. And I was like, okay, and this will give, I think, just a lot of creators free reign, which, Disney often does not give.
Sure.
I mean, I think a legitimate criticism you can throw at Disney and Lucasfilm and even Marvel is that a lot of their content, whether it's even if it's really good, it can be formulaic. And we've seen that especially this year with a number of their films.
Yeah.
And I totally understand the criticism, and it's deserved. But I will say with this one, even if you like these episodes or not, I do like that they do, for the most part, feel very different from each other.
That is good.
That they are playing around with different ideas and aesthetics and characters that we don't often see in Star Wars. And that's what makes it fresh. And that's why I hope this series continues on. Even if I don't like every episode, I want them to keep doing this just because it's like, this is what Star Wars needs. It shouldn't just be relying on the nostalgia all the time. It shouldn't just be relying on the old character. Yeah,
completely.
It really does. And even this show does it to a degree. And it's like every time it did it, it didn't feel like you didn't need this at all. It's like it's completely it's not necessary.
Okay,
and,
I'm very curious as to where you felt that.
Okay, we'll
get to it.
Yeah, please. Yeah, we'll definitely get to it. We can go off in tangents as much as we want, but right off the bat, even the first 4 episodes I've seen, even if I didn't like them all, I just like the fact that they were all so different from each other, and it makes me excited that maybe this is a sign that Disney is going to be a little more, free when it comes to expanding the IP of Star Wars in general. I hope.
Well,
it's a good step in the right direction for me personally.
I'm sure they can be like, well, it's not canon, is it?
Yeah.
It's not canon. Oh yeah, do whatever you want. Nice. Oh, and here are the characters you can't use.
Can't use that guy. Can't use him. You can use him because you can do whatever the hell you want with him. We brought him back to life. But yeah, have fun with that. But yeah, no, you're right about that. You're right. You're not. At least I didn't see many recognizable faces aside from 2 people.
Wow, I don't know if I saw any. So you'll have to.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's cool. That makes it exciting. We could talk about it, but. I will say, and you kind of indicated how you felt about this first episode, but I really, really liked episode 1 of this series, which is simply called The Duel. And I loved it for its aesthetic, where it's straight up feudal Japan, except it just happens to have a little bit of Star Wars tech sprinkled around. It's like, yeah, you have this wandering samurai, this warrior who's going from town to town, and he just happens to run across these bandits, which are very reminiscent of the Empire. But I just liked it just because of the fact that even though it's already borrowing from things what we've seen from Star Wars with the whole samurai aesthetic and then the tropes and things, like how this plays out and with the choreography and just the use of the environment, I loved it. I was like, this is it. And how violent it was. It took me aback because I'm just so used to kind of like regular Disney Star Wars, just Star Wars in general, where it's just kind of goofy. Just watching episode 1, again, I was like, this is some goofy shit. And it'll surprise me to see someone get cut in half or stabbed in a violent way or just throttled and blasted and exploded. Like, this one took me off guard.
We saw Darth Maul get cut in half.
And I was surprised by that.
And you saw the 2 pieces, so there was no doubt. It wasn't just like, oh.
Got spider legs, though. He got spider legs, yeah. But this one, I think, has more of that within a truncated amount of time. And I loved it. I mean, they literally had, and I thought, this is going to be stupid as hell. We saw this in the trailer, this umbrella lightsaber.
Oh, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. When you see that thing in motion, it's like, I do not want to mess with that lady. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
The minute that comes out, you're like, somebody should have thought of that before.
Yeah, really. It's like, well, the only thing we could do is like double bladed and the cross blade. We couldn't think of something like fucking this in a movie.
Yeah, very inventive.
Holy shit, because they didn't want to take risks because they thought that's stupid. But this show, I mean, again, and you can get away with stuff in animation that you can't always get away with in live action, but it makes me want to see something like this in a live action film, especially how they had these fight scenes in the choreography. But
the choreography is great.
But I really like this episode. But how did you feel about it personally?
So things that you found to be positives, to me were negatives.
Okay.
Now I will say on the positive side, I love the look of it. The way the animation is done, this whole technique, it's computer, but it has the look of being not just hand drawn, but like in black and white, almost charcoal drawings.
I see, yeah.
And I dig that a lot. And the choreography is amazing. So here's what I don't like about it.
Okay.
So you got anime and you got Star Wars. And the goal, at least I think in my head, nobody told me this, is to meld these things so it makes sense to have both of them.
Yes.
This is not a Star Wars movie or story. This is just a samurai story.
Yeah, it very much is.
It is just a samurai anime. It might as well be Yasuke that we saw earlier this year.
The Black Samurai, right?
Yeah, and it's as if it was done already, and they go like, well, we got this Star Wars assignment. If we just go back in and redraw the swords as lightsabers.
Right. I see what you're saying.
And slap it out there. And maybe make some of these people robots or lizard men. and then it just plays out because I was like, outside of that, there's nothing Star Wars about this thing.
I think for me, it felt like, okay, we're like, we want to showcase that this is an anime series, but it has Star Wars. And so we're going to put all these things on top of it. Because this is what people, I think we're going to have a lot of people watch this who aren't anime fans at first. They're just Star Wars fans, and maybe they're unfamiliar with it.
Okay.
And so we want to get people to accustom to maybe what they're going to be seeing in the future. So we're going to show what we often see in anime. Like this is very much Samurai Champloo. This is very much Mugen or Jean or any of those other characters that they fight in that series.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally that. We just replace the samurai sword with a lightsaber and go. And I think that was their intention, and that's why it didn't bother me so much. Because like, okay, I see what you're doing. It's a samurai story, but I was okay with that.
And it's a super simple story with not much to it.
Yeah, it's literally a duel.
Yeah. It's just a duel, and it's a cool duel. But I was like, it ain't really Star Wars though.
Yeah, fair enough. Now there are other things, and I do appreciate this, even if I didn't particularly like this next episode. That went. Any other additional thoughts though for the duel, or okay? Just want to be sure.
No. But I mean, I think it's not the strongest episode, but it's good enough to lead with.
Exactly.
I mean, it is something where just because the animation technique looks so different than what you think of with anime, like Pokemon, that somebody who's a Star Wars fan and not necessarily an anime fan could come into it and go like, oh, this is not what I thought it's going to be. Maybe I'll stick around. Right.
No, totally understand what you're saying. And then and it's like, okay, well, you had that one, but we're going to get some stark contrasts. And it's like, we don't have samurai. We don't have, we have some action scenes and stuff, but it's really what this next episode, which I think is called Tatooine Rhapsody. It's literally what, even that last episode was Samurai Champloo. This is very much a slice of life anime. This is like Silver Spoon or something like that. We're just following people just trying to do their thing day by day. Happens to be this band. We had like a really cutesy anime aesthetic, so very different than what we initially saw at the duel. And they just happened to piss off Boba Fett, who's chasing after them. I have to say, this one I didn't really care for at all.
It was nothing for me.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it is. It's like Boba Fett, and they got Tamir Morrison to voice him. But other than that, I was like,
you're right. You're right. I forgot about Boba Fett.
Yeah. But overall, it's just, and even like how it all wraps up, it's like,
didn't care.
It didn't care. But again, it's like, even if you didn't like that one, there's always the next one. But this to me was, out of the four that I've seen, this was definitely the weakest one. It was just, it didn't hit me.
Dick.
But fair enough. There you go. Could suck a Star Wars dick. Could suck a lightsaber, Martin. Come on, this is a PG show right now. Suck a lightsaber, okay? And it's like, okay, so we got the Samurai Champloo, we got the Slice of Life. It's like, how about we get Dragon Ball? How about we give you a shonen anime? And
is that what that's called, shonen?
Yeah, shonen. That's where it's like where you have people who have power-ups constantly and they monologue for episodes before they actually start throwing a punch. That's Dragon Ball. That's
I was watching
some of the other things like that.
And I was like, well, I get why young people really go for this because it is, man, it's power fantasy to the max.
Yes, exactly.
And probably people who often feel powerless or they don't have a voice or pent up emotions. So everyone here is full of emotions and they yell all the dialogue. You're just constantly yelling. And when they do something, they pose because, hey, it's special that I just did this thing.
Yeah.
I can't take it.
I understand. I totally understand. Like people who don't like Dragon Ball, I get it. And this is indulging in all those things that people either hate or love about Dragon Ball, where you have two characters who progressively gets stronger throughout the entire episode. The 20 or so, maybe less than 20 minutes, and where they're fighting with 6 lightsabers. They're out in outer space, and it doesn't even matter. No, you don't need oxygen because we're so powerful. We don't even need to breathe. It doesn't matter. Going through hyperspace, just out there. It's like, but again, I understood what it was doing, and for people that love those kind of anime, I expect that you'll like something like this because you don't expect this with Star Wars. But yeah, it didn't really appeal to me. I think the voice actors, if I'm not mistaken, because they do have like an interesting cast of people. They did get some big names. I think for this one, at least the one that I saw, had two of the biggest names. So this person who goes by Kare, this person born of the dark side, voiced by excuse me. This person is This is voiced by Alison Brie.
Okay.
And from Glow and Community and things. Yeah. And her twin, her male equivalent, is voiced by Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Okay. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of other, interesting casting, and especially in the episode that you like. The fifth one, which I was not able to see. They got Simu Liu, a number of other people right there as well. But yeah, I mean, again, if you like something like Dragon Ball, you would probably like something like this. But then we get to this fourth episode, and this is the kind of one where it's like, I forgot this was even Star Wars. This one's called the Village Bride, which feels very reminiscent of something like a Miyazaki movie.
It does.
Where, yeah, you have some Jedi in it, but for the most part, you're just following this little village of people who are just in perfect tune with their planet that has been literally, it's an environmental message. It's exploited by some evil people. Miyazaki said,
Miyazaki.
Excuse me, what are you doing? I didn't greenlight this film. All right, this is my whole thing.
Are you sure? I thought we asked you first.
Yeah, and that's what it really is. It's just about this village in this culture, about how they treat their women with such respect, but how that's being abused by this outside force. And then of course you do get, I think, a really cool. It's like a subtle, like where is the duel and the previous episode before when they're fighting around like Dragon Ball Z characters was so over the top. This to me felt like the most grounded and kind of the most like Star Wars-esque in terms of like its fighting. Kind of like some of the original trilogy.
Yes, it did. Because up to this point, I've seen 3 episodes and I'm not impressed.
I get you.
And then I'm watching this one, and it's Miyazaki-like, like you said, and you almost forget that it's Star Wars until you get to the end. And it's very much Star Wars, and the way the battle, the action stuff was handled, and just the design. It's like suddenly I really woke up to all the little things they've been doing that whole episode. And I was like, well, shit. Now we've hit one where I'd like to see a part 2 to this. Yeah. No, and that, I mean, I think like with Marvel's What If, I would not be surprised if Disney looks at, or Lucasfilm looks at these episodes and go, we can do a sequel to this one. We can do a series for this one. Yeah. That's what this is. This is just shopping things out and seeing what fan reaction is. And this one I really liked about these. I mean, it's talking about, and it's incorporating things, the lore from Star Wars. The end of the Clone Wars, the Empire has risen, and you have these Jedi that are just out on this planet, but this master who's just being, he's not like Obi-Wan yelling at Anakin, or he's like, no, just watch these people. Watch these people and their way of life and how in tune they are. And she's like, oh, it's like the Force. And it's like, yeah. And I thought that was really cool. He's like a good version of the Jedi who was not arrogant or just pieces of shit. I was like, this is what the Jedi should be. This is what we're told in the original trilogy. He's actually teaching her something. And yeah, this was the one where it doesn't have a lot of action in it, but it has a really good ending scene. And you're just sitting there with the characters and observing this culture. And this is, maybe I said the duel is my favorite, but the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, this is probably the strongest one of the 4 that I've seen. Yeah, the 4 you've seen.
Now,
I think so.
Yeah. And now I know that, so this is all I was able to see because I was preparing the show and doing a lot of stuff. Martin, you had the chance to watch all of them. Yeah. And I know that you had, next up was, I couldn't get like a good picture for it, but you had episode 5.
Yes.
So I imagine this is one of the characters in episode 5, which I believe is called the Ninth Jedi.
Yeah, she's the main character.
She is the Ninth Jedi in this case.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But she is the daughter of a lightsaber maker.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and he's made these new lightsabers. He's a lightsaber smith, and she picks one up, and what comes out of it is extra long, but it's clear. There's no color to it.
Okay.
And And it's just like, well, he's like, well, I've made these in tuned to the user, and the color will reflect who they are. And she's like, oh, well, I guess I'm not that strong in the Force. And I'm like, well, you might be stronger. And then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I need you to pack these up and get these to this person across the way. Just please, just go do that, and I'll see you when you get back. And then Empire comes in. And they're like, all right, where's those lightsabers? You're making these illegally. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So they're beating and torturing him.
Oh, shit.
And,
Okay.
and she looks back, and he's telling her, go do what I said.
Yeah.
And so she's on a mission, being chased to get these lightsabers to the right person. There's some great twists and turns in this that I don't even want to say more.
Right.
But every action sequence is right on point. This episode does the perfect meld of Star Wars and anime, because it takes everything that at least that I love about anime, just how kinetic it can be at times, but also slow down and have so much heart and feeling. But it's very much Star Wars. It really expands on the Star Wars mythology.
Nice, that's perfect.
Just within, and it's probably the longest episode. It's 22 minutes.
I think that is the longest. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I watched it twice because it was that good.
Wow. All right. Do you think this is the one that people should like? Okay, if you haven't liked the Thor, you get to the fifth one, then it turns around for you for the most part. Do you feel like any of the ones after this one did you like?
So none of the ones afterwards did I like as much, but the four after I like better than the ones before.
Okay, so they're stronger.
I mean, well, the fourth one's still pretty good.
Yeah.
But all the ones afterwards, are pretty good. I mean, I can think of one that was like,
so.
Okay. But the others, they were better. Still, the fifth one is the best one.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty much 4, and then onwards, it basically in the middle portion and towards the end, it ends stronger. That's what you're saying. So that's good. No, that's good. And it makes me excited to watch it. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover about this series that you feel like people should know about it before I go ahead into the chat, kind of ask them? And if you have any like final thoughts, I don't feel comfortable giving a rating because I haven't seen all of it, but if you feel comfortable, then please do so.
Man, I wish I had thought about a rating before.
Yeah,
it's almost like
it's an anthology series, which is weird. Yeah. It's the same thing we struggle with when it comes to the Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah. So,
it's hard to rate a whole
anthology because they're so different from each other.
Yeah, because then I end up going like, well, you average it out to probably like a matinee, or so.
Yeah,
I mean, it might be a low matinee just because there's 2 or 3 episodes I think are really strong, and a bunch that I think are just okay, and then 2 I think are almost terrible.
Right.
So
okay. No, that's fair. No, that's perfectly fair. I mean, yeah, it is difficult to give a rating to an anthology series unless we're just reviewing them episode per episode. I just want to do that. I just wanted to really talk about the ones that I knew I saw in case you had anything else too. But no, thank you for sharing that about episode 5. It makes me want to check it out even more. And I think that's the one with oops, I did the thing. I can't help it. I know. I was like, I've been doing this, moving back and forth. But I think that episode 5 is the one with Simu Liu.
Okay.
Who is, of course, Shang-Chi.